Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori Brame. Thank you for being here. I know, you thought I was done with Yods. You thought I was done with Yods. You're like, you've only done 45 Yod videos. How can you not be done with Yods? Well, I'm not. I have one more. So this is something, if you look into Yods, this is something that might come up, so I wanted to at least mention it. There are three different types of Yods. There's the classic Yod, the golden Yod, and the iron Yod. They mean extremely different things. And so this is something that I just want to mention just because a lot of people might have this in their chart. They might run into this type of thing. They act in the same way where they have two bases shooting energy into an apex, and that apex is the thing that you really want to pay attention to as far as how this plays out in your life. And like any pattern, all points are significant. So one of the bases might be triggered by the moon every month or by another planet transiting it, but that apex is probably where it's going to show up the most. But you have to know where the bases are to understand the entire working of it. So first of all, a classic Yod, we've gone over this a lot. If you guys want more information, you can follow the links below. I have two videos talking about what they are, how they behave in a birth chart, and how to find them. But the classic Yod is two 150-degree angles, so quincunxing, and then a sextile at the bottom. So it's forming this little triangle in your birth chart, and the two bases are shooting energy into the apex. Now the classic Yod, those are quincunxes. So this Yod is extremely psychological. There is a lot of psychology that goes into it. Different things are going to play this out in your life, especially in childhood. I feel like everyone I talk to with a Yod has had some kind of either trauma or individualized childhood that shapes them into the person they are today, but it's like in a weird way, if that makes sense. If you have a Yod, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have a Yod, it might not make sense. So the golden Yod are two biquintiles, and then a quintile at the bottom. So what a quintile is when you separate a circle and divide it by fives. So each pizza slice, there's 5 pizza slices, and the distance from one to the other is 72 degrees, bringing it all the way around to 360 degrees, which is the full degrees of a circle. So the golden Yod, because you're dealing with quintiles, there are a lot of spiritual aspects. There's a lot of creativity that goes into it. If you want to learn more about quintiles and what that looks like, Rick Levine has some amazing classes. He has a lot of free information out there as well. I think he did a podcast with Chris Brennan on the Astrology podcast, talking a lot about quintiles and how they play out. So classic Yod, very psychological. Golden Yod, very creative. There is people who have these in their birth chart. They have almost this like mystic personality to them. They have a lot of creativity, a lot of new ideas. Kind of the purpose of having a golden Yod in your birth chart with all these quintiles and biquintiles is bringing newness to the world. And depending on where your apex is, what planet is there, what house, what sign, that's going to give you a lot of information as to how that energy is being channeled in your birth chart and what your purpose is coming into this world. The last Yod is an iron Yod. Again, back to my triangle. This is a square at the bottom, and then 2 sesquiquadrates. That is so hard for me to say. I don't know why. And those are 135 degrees each. Now, squares, sesquiquadrates, those are both very highly actionable. Things happen with this one. So golden Yod, it's a lot more like energy you're putting out into the world. You know, I came here to give, to be creative, to show, all that stuff. Classic Yod, very deeply psychological. Iron Yod, stuff happens. Literally stuff happens. And kind of the way you can remember that is an iron Yod is very earthy. It's very strong, like iron. So iron, very strong. And it's like with that type of thing, you have a very big story, a very concrete, definite story that plays out. The thing with squares is they take muscle to play out. If you have a square or an opposition in your birth chart, that takes so much muscle that you tend to view really hard things as easier than a lot of other people because you've built so much muscle dealing with this square your entire life. So usually by the time you get to like 40, you're good to go. I mean, things still happen to you, but it's nothing that you haven't seen before, and you kind of view everything as like an opportunity to use that muscle because it's already strong. So with an iron yod, it's a very definite story. It's very concrete things that play out. So if you guys have a classic yod, a golden yod, or an iron yod, please let me know in the comments below. I really find the stories absolutely fascinating, and the more we tell our story, the more information we give to other people who can relate and also see how these things could play out for themselves. I hope all this made sense, and take care.